Our presentation is on the biome of the temperate forest. The temperate forest is located between the polar and tropical regions of the world, hence the word temperate. 25% of the world's forests are temperate forests. It is a diverse biome which is home to a variety of animals and plants. Photoperiodism and phototrophism in plants. An example of this is the pine tree. Pine trees are sun-loving plants, therefore the leaves and stems of the pine tree display positive phototrophism. This is indicated by the direction of the plant's stem in relation to the direction of sunlight. Taxes and kinesis in animals. Gypsy moths show an example of taxes. Males are usually smaller than females and have a 1.5-inch wingspan. They are dark brown and have feathery antennae. Moths are attracted to light and the smell of fermented sugar or ripe fruit. Nocturnal or diurnal activity. Example of this is the prairie falcon. The prairie falcon is diurnal because one of its main predators, the gray horned owl, hunts at night, and by sleeping through the night they can better stay out of sight from their predators. Fight or flight response. Example of this is the black-tailed deer. Due to the gray wolf being a major predator to the black-tailed deer, the deer releases its fight or flight response in order to outrun the gray wolf. Another fight or flight mechanism that the deer has is the freeze mechanism, which is an escape method that was passed on ever since the speciation of the deer. Territorial markings in mammals. A coyote example of this. Coyotes mark their territory by tracing it with urine. They mark their territory in order to let other coyotes know that their land is theirs, and that it sets an outline for the coyote's pack's home. Coyotes will also mark the most important areas of their homes with scat.
The lady slipper orchid shows an example of coloration in flowers. It is a colorful plant that attracts pollinators so the plant can reproduce. The eastern tiger swallowtail is an example of predator warnings. These butterflies are yellow with black stripes or completely black. The black butterflies mimic the blue swallowtail, which tastes horrible to predators, and this warns the predator before they think about eating it. The red baneberry shows an example of plant response to herbivory. The red baneberry is an extremely poisonous plant with fruit. Although some small squirrels and birds can eat it, the majority of animals cannot because it releases ranuclin, which is a poison which kills the herbivore. The wood warbler shows an example of bird songs. They use a variety of short chirp noises. Males make an alternating chip noise, while females use a high-pitched chirp to respond to the males. Both males and females use a high hissing noise to assert dominance. The monarch butterfly shows an example of coloration. Both males and females are bright orange and have black veins. The females have bigger veins than the males, and their bright color is useful because it warns other animals that they're poisonous. The color also allows them to blend into their surroundings and tricks predators into thinking they are the eyes of a large animal. Black bears show an example of parent and offspring interactions. Black bears are large and weigh around 200 to 600 pounds. Mothers protect the cubs and raise them until they can survive on their own, which is around 2 to 4 years after they're born, and it is difficult for them to let their cubs leave, whereas fathers leave the cubs and sometimes kill the cubs from other families.
An example of courtship and mating is bobcats. Bobcats make very specific sounds during mating seasons, which is typically in the spring season. Sounds include snarls, hisses, squalls, and screams, which are all implemented to battle for territory over a specific female bobcat. Along with sounds, the male bobcat bites the female bobcat's neck, as the female may be able to change their mind to mate. An example of foraging in bees and other animals is the red crossbill. The red crossbill can be seen foraging with the relative white-winged crossbill. The red crossbill's adaptation to forage allows the bird to access seeds from pine cones that other species cannot get to. They also forage for conifer seeds if the supply of pine cone seeds is low. An example of pack behavior is the red fox. The red fox have long snouts and red fur across their face, back, sides, tail, and are notorious for being cunning. They usually live in a pack with unmated females taking care of young, while the mother or father goes out to search for food. An example of herd flock and schooling behavior is the Roosevelt elk. The Roosevelt elk's named after the President Roosevelt and live in very large herds, with one mature elk dominating the herd. The herd does not consist of more than one mature elk, as the less powerful elk will be classified as sub-adult and be kicked out of the herd in the upcoming years. An example of colonies and swarming is the carpenter ants. Carpenter ants live in earthen chambers that have ant hills that can be several feet high. They store food and protect their queen. They help trees grow by excavating soil. Their colonies have 3,000 to 100,000 ants, and they use formic acid to defend themselves against predators. The formic acid is sprayed from their abdomens. An example of kin selection is the Florida scrub jay. The Florida scrub jay are 9 to 11 inches long and weigh 2.3 to 3.3 ounces. They have a blue head, tail, and wings with a gray belly and back. They help other breeding pairs with gathering food and protecting against predators. They have a preference for helping out close family members such as brothers, mothers, and fathers.